Hello, and you're very welcome to the Turn M podcast. It's season 4, episode 28. Well, look, it's a point on the road at Derry. We'll take that because points on the road haven't come along too often. To go through the match tonight, we've got. I think you were for a second.
I thought I got a notification saying my battery was dying on my laptop. It's not. It's my phone.
That's all right.
Good evening. Good evening.
Evening, Gally. Point on the road at Derry. I suppose if you were offered that before tonight, would you have taken it?
100%. I mean, like a draw up there. I mean, like when you consider that what they have, the riches that they have in the squad, albeit that I don't even think they've hit top form at all in the season.
No,
as you could probably say of Shells and Rovers maybe as well. But yeah, I mean, a point, especially going 1-0 up as well. With the last couple of weeks we've had, and and in fairness to Daly tonight, he's put in he's made 3 changes and he's changed the squad. He's kind of
let's talk about it. In came Robbie Mahon and Sean Keogh.
Yeah, Sean Keogh tonight. I know we talk, but I thought he's at the game. Definitely his best performance, and even Robbie Mahon. I mean, I know Robbie's one of those players that he just hasn't gotten going. I mean, I remember when we signed him. We feared for kind of the likes of Ryan O'Kane because we thought if Robbie Mahon of old comes in after having a spell in the SPL and comes in and gets going at all, but he just hasn't. But tonight I actually thought 1 or 2 pieces in the first half. You could see why Daly might want him to play. You could see why O'Donnell kept him as well and wanted him playing. But I thought Hayden Can came in done really well. I thought Sean Keogh was sensational tonight. I know he's gone down with a bit of cramp or a bit of an injury later on, but I thought he had a great game for 18, 19 years of age. But yeah, look, and he's kind of recycled John Mutney as well. I suppose he's put him in kind of in the middle of the park, and it's options that they have going forward. You need to probably rejig it for tonight, given what Derry have in the middle of the park. With the likes of Patching and Duffy out wide, what you're going to get with them, Mullen as well. And yeah, look, I just thought Derry possession wise destroyed us. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, those dogged performances, those kind of hanging in there. They're the results that are going to see us, hopefully over the next couple of weeks and months, steer clear of where we don't want to be, especially with what happened up in Daly tonight as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think the thing we all said about Sean Keogh is, just having a natural left footer in the left back position. It just makes sense towards, Sean Keogh naturally wants to drift out wide, can bend a ball down the line towards Pike or whoever else we played there. They're right, so they're always cutting back into more traffic, and it's probably costs us more times than we care to have, and funny enough, further up the pitch, then you looked at Robbie Mahon and Horgan. They seem to swap sides, quite a lot during the match. So sometimes we had a right footer on the left side that cut in on purpose, or Darryl might just switch sides or drift either side. So that kind of worked for tonight. And like I say, we've seen these glimpses of Robbie Mahon. I'm thinking of that Bows away the first time we played him this year. He was absolutely immense in that first half, and then the injury kicks in. He had an injury at the start of the season, so we didn't get to see the best of him again. And that seems to be the story of his career so far with Dundalk. It's just stop-start with injuries, and it's very, very disappointing. Some other viewers might have also noticed, by the way, we are live for the first time on Instagram, so we'll keep an eye on comments there as well.
As if you didn't get enough of us already. We're on every platform, pretty much.
Yeah,
when you mentioned the likes of Robbie, in and out, when we're playing the likes of Derry, it's almost like Patching. When Patching said, I know they're not the same type of player, but he tonight a couple of injuries in and out of games. I think there is a player in there with Robbie. But I mean, it's not just him, but it's good to see players like that who really haven't got going at all. Just come in and do a job, and that's all you can look for now. It's players that come in and just be dogged, be relentless, and trying to. What we're doing now, it's backs to the wall pretty much against these top, so-called, well, they're not so-called better teams, but Derry are nowhere near what they should be.
But then the thing with Derry, we kind of said is every time you look at them, they're a good team, but they're just so inconsistent, but we just haven't been able to capitalize on that inconsistency. And you could say that with most of the teams that's played us this year. So it was good to see that finally, we went up, we put in a good performance, and we get something out of it, and everyone probably after this we'll be talking about, it's more points dropped at home by Derry. But for ourselves, I listened to the interviews with John Daly, with Gav during the week, and it was all about, putting behind that Galway match last week. There was mistakes from everybody, things we got to learn. Like I say, you went in, made changes, probably played people more in positions you would expect to see them, more favourable positions. And I think, especially that first half performance, I thought we were excellent tonight. We probably, looking back on it now, you'll rue the chances that both Robbie Mann and Jamie Gullen had. Just before half time, you're thinking either of those two go in, and you go in 2-0 at half time, and it's a very, very different game. But in particular, I just think there's a lot of positives to be taken from that first half.
Yeah, and I think even either side of the goal, we've mentioned here for not for a long time, but for weeks, Darrell Hogan's final ball, or even deliveries from corners and crosses haven't been the quality that we're used to. And then you look at this other side, Mickey Duffy's hasn't been tonight either. It's just, but Darrell Hogan tonight, even for the corner kick, either side of that corner ball, we slowed the game. Even the commentators mentioned we slowed the game down. We didn't rush our corners. We didn't really rush even throw-ins if you look back at it. But that's a pinpoint cross. It's a pinpoint. It's all the sweeter that it's again. John Murray's going up against Mark Connolly. But it's a fantastic goal. Like, that's probably one of the best we've had all season. I mean,
well, we've lamented the chance that we don't score enough from set pieces, haven't we? And our corners.
Exactly, and anything like, we're so poor. That's almost, John Murray's goal is akin to the likes of Garpland, Boyle over the years. Mark Connolly when he was with us. These type of goals, these type of headers, kind of strength, swashbuckling headers, I suppose, into the box. I was shocked when it turned around it was John Murray. I thought it was actually Can that got on the end of it. But those type of goals are very few and far between. But they're all the sweeter when you get them against the likes of a Derry team. But we probably earned it at that. Yes, we've had, like, I've seen comments there from Ryan, disappointed with the draw. There's an argument for that, definitely, what, like you say, on the first half performance. Derry have had 100% more of the ball, but like Ryan says, they've done very little with it. They've had one or two sniffs of goal. Yeah. Their goals, I know we're getting on a wee bit, but their goals very poor, in my opinion. It's poor to give away. But look, in the grander schemes of things, like you just mentioned, the first half performance is definitely what you'll take from the game. Yeah. And then the second half was just hanging in there, fighting. And that's probably, we've been guilty of not been doing that over the last couple of months under 2/3 managers. But I think that result tonight, although yes, I understand Ryan saying definitely there's an argument for me disappointed. But I mean, like you say at the top of the show, you would have absolutely took that without playing tonight. You would have took a 1-1 draw, 100%. Yeah.
Frank asking, is that our first headed goal from a corner in about 2 years? We'll check with James Rogers on that one, I think. We'll get on to one of the lads now. We'll try to check that out. But Frank, I think you think you could be right. Another thing just coming up in a lot of the message here, the Can Boyle combination tonight, it seemed to work quite well. I think, for whatever criticism or whatever way you want to put it, that Boyler took for the Galway match, it was a different performance tonight. He was putting his body on the line. Some really, really important blocks, especially in those last 6 minutes, just felt like 12 minutes. The way it was going on, I was like, oh, come on, you're killing me. But, those really, really important blocks, good marshalling from him as well. It was back to vintage Boiler, but that combination seemed to work quite well tonight in a defense where I don't know how many combinations we've seen tonight, but that even the back two just looked a lot more settled tonight.
Yeah, we were kind of when Can signed, we wondered where he was going to go. Was he going to go maybe a CDM or centre back? We haven't seen a lot of him, and that's the first time we've probably had a proper look at him, like in that role. And we've been guilty of saying Mayowa and Hayden Muller earlier in the season, and Boyle, and Louis when he was there. But it's whether it's going to continue with these two at the back. But in games like that, in big games, you now know what you have and what we can expect of them. I thought Can was excellent. Boyle, like you say, he's definitely more tuned in because of who he's facing tonight. 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you mentioned the last blocks, the last couple of minutes, Pat Hooben's got one of them. 100%. Boyle knows his game, and look, Pat would have known his as well. But he's definitely
a couple of blocks on Duffy as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a sweeter game tonight and blocking the likes of Pat Hubinoff, patching as well, Duffy, Dummigan early in the Dummigan got high in the game in the first half, things like that. And we're up against these boys that have been your teammates before, and it is all the sweeter. And look, it would have been all the sweeter for Pat to score as well. But Boiler tonight, immense. Didn't really do anything wrong. Yes, we invited a bit more pressure on us that you'd like, but that's what we've been doing that all season. But the difference was tonight we weren't leaking 3 and 4 goals. So you got to take the kind of the positives out of that, even though it is a 1-1 draw. It's a poor goal to give away, but I mean, just in the aspect of Boylan it's something to look at. I'd be interested to see where Mayo goes but John Mountney again, even ahead of them 2 boys tonight. John Mountney's been excellent, just high up in the CDM role, and it's I think we're not getting ahead of ourselves, right? But that's a big result tonight. I mean, could you have nicked something? Could we got 2 in the first half? Yeah, Gullens missed. Like you commented into the chat straight away.
It's a great ball in by Mahan, and you're just looking at him, and I'm either thinking he's either cutting his back across the face of goal, does it come off a defender and trickle across the line? It could be anything like that, but just to have taken the shot and not got anything out of it is just a little bit heartbreaking on that.
Yeah, and they're the little things that at any level, whether you're going for a league or you're being relegated.
Well, if you think he probably had two opportunities and that was his best one, you got to take one of them, haven't you?
You have to. And an inform, like if it falls to, I suppose there's nobody from our team that's going to fall. If maybe it falls to Ryan O'Kane, if it falls to, I don't want to mention again, but a Pat Hubin, they're the type of goals they're scoring. Jamie's just not had a run at it. And it's just unlucky. But look, I think he's the type of player that, we had him and Cammy Elliott, and we kind of had this kind of mantra with Cammy that, we wanted him to do well and we kind of wanted him to see, but Jamie Gunn, we know he can play. It's just getting that little bit of break, and it's just unfortunate for him tonight. He hasn't grabbed it, but I think his time has come, and I think last couple of games of the season, I think he could become very vital for us. Because again, he's coming deep tonight and played. He's almost played well. Mr. Hubin used to play deep in the role, coming in as almost a number 10. But tonight is probably about the 2 boys at the back. I thought Pike done decent as well. Finally see him in the right back role. I thought Pike done really well. But Sean Keogh, for me, I know we're way ahead here on man of the match stuff. Steph will be in there in a second to kind of put everything to bed for us. But I think the defensive work tonight as a unit, that's what's got us over the line tonight. And absolutely, it's a really, really strong result, especially what's going on up in Daleyman tonight as well for us.
Yeah,
I agree with
Flano's comment there. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, though, Flano, that Derry have been terrible this year, and they haven't. It's the fact that loads of teams, I think, have been terrible this year, and we've seen them come in on bad runs, and we just haven't been able to capitalize. So it's just great that we were able to, and I'm saying capitalize and getting a point on the road. I know, we should be aiming for all 3 points, but even that, to be able to come back down the road with something when I think just points on the road have been so valuable. And we were only saying it last week that, you have to make your home games count in this last 10 games running, and picking up something on the road when you can. And this was definitely just one of those nights where there was an opportunity to pick up something. It's a point at minimum. Yeah. Was there more there? Yeah, there probably was. But it's just important that we do pick up something. And I did see Flano's other comment there on the Instagram just saying that Sean Keogh was actually only 17. And I know he's 17 and he's doing his leave insert next year.
Yeah.
So that just says a lot. That says a lot about it.
But really, I don't know what he's come off with, if it's cramp, if it's an injury, or I think he's come off maybe after an hour or something like that. But
I think he seemed to overstretch slightly for that ball down the line.
A little bit, but look, I thought he was fantastic.
Well, the thing about it is now we've got no game next weekend, so I suppose if you have these little niggles and stuff, this is the other thing I wanted to say to you. We've found this plenty of times going up to play up in the Ryan McBride, Brandywell. We've come out with 1 or 2 niggles or injuries. Tonight seemed to be another one of those. We'd Robbie Benson go off at half time. You could see him struggle just before. He seemed to be holding the groin a little. And on that pitch in particular, it being so dry, obviously John Daly didn't want to risk anything and put Scott McGill on at half time. And then like you just mentioned there, we've seen Sean Keogh just slide down the line to put the ball out, and he might have overstretched something, or it might just be he twigged something as he hit that dry surface there. And once again, I'm hoping it was more of a precaution. That John Daly said that now's the time just to take him off, because we're going to need that sort of a player in this run there and before. And then also, I think Jamie Gullen, which was a strange one for Jamie Gullen, because just before his injury, he lost the ball further up the pitch, but then tracked all the way back, won the ball back, and then kind of dallied on the ball too long that he just gave away the ball again. Yeah. And then to block the ball, got himself injured. It's one of them things. Should strikers be back defending? Clearly not. And he seems to have injured himself trying to do it.
I think the last injury he got as well, he was somewhere he shouldn't have been either. I think he got injured early in the season. So, look, he just seems to want the ball. He is that type of player, and it's great to have. But we'd rather he didn't have the ball so deep and come looking for it and putting the ball in the back of net. But even if we're talking about the defensive side, even what Flano says there, like Pike at right back, Sean Keogh, it was a perfect balance. Pike come in at left back. Did he come in the last 2 or 3 matches?
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
On the left-hand side, yeah.
Struggling to get it, but Hayden Muller used to do the same left back when he's not really that type of player. But yeah, I thought much better balance. Flano's 100%. Especially Mountney as well. Mountney in the middle in the park as well. I thought that was excellent. It was just a good layout, I suppose, a good formation against a team that you needed to be a bit probably rough with, a bit more physical. And Daly's obviously seen that. John Daly's seen it, and we'll probably bring in now probably the most physical fullback, or I don't know how many times you've sent off his career. Not probably as much as John Flanagan, but Steph, evening.
Steph, we've just been lamenting over definitely a more settled, if not fluid, back four. People playing a lot more in their natural positions. Is that what we could see tonight? And even the Boyle combination seemed to work tonight.
Yeah, Can looked really solid. He was probably one of the better players for us on the pitch. I thought Keogh was very impressive as well. I thought he was probably extremely unfortunate to get taken out of the team that time. I know there have been a couple of new signings, and obviously John Daly wanted to get them into a starting 11 after signing them, but he was extremely unlucky to get taken out. And look, he just had to bide his time when he came back in. I thought he was excellent again. He's coming up against players that have plenty of pace and experience in the league, but he's dealt with it excellently, I thought. And look, Pike's a right back by nature, I think. So, he looked a lot more comfortable on the right hand side, and even getting on the ball and playing it as well. So, yeah, you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but yeah, when you have
not on this show, we don't do that.
Something to build on there, definitely. Very impressed with Can, though. If we can get someone in there, it's going to be solid like that. I liked how he was aggressive as well. So, yeah.
I think the thing is, though, Steph, the points on the road just haven't been coming that often, and we've kind of talked about, and we had comments in saying that Derry weren't that great tonight. But the problem is we've come up against teams that haven't been great, and we just haven't capitalized. So to make sure we came away with something tonight, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. I went up to Daly Mount last week, and you were sort of not that you were coming away going, geez, we got lucky. We drew that game because we could have stolen it at the end with the Kiki chance, or Ryan O'Kane has a couple of maybe picked the wrong options at times. But yeah, you were just. Tonight, it was more like, we got the goal and then we were digging in. I know it was dogged defending and a bit last ditch at times, but look, you take that every week over going up and just getting beat comprehensively and just dragging it down totally. But yeah, it was a lot. I don't want to say you get 1 point the same as Daly Mount away, but I don't know, you're just coming out of it feeling a lot better.
Yeah,
just maybe the performance, that just the way we dug in and showed a bit of grit. And even the goal, you're sort of annoyed at the goal because there's a substitution, and it's over that side as well. McGill sort of gets caught by the player coming inside. I don't know whether he slips or he's just nowhere near it, and then it's a deflection. It looks like nearly Ruben heads it as well. It's just a.
If he had it, at least he would have been offside.
Yeah. So
it seems to be slow motion. It seems just kind of bounce in and just one of them. It just
he shall not be named. Still hasn't scored against us. So
long may that continue.
Yeah, for another wee while anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Just on Frank's point earlier, James Rogers just got back to say it was last September, 3-1 victory over Drogheda. Pat Hooban scored from Daryl Horgan's corner. So some things never change. But that's almost a year in between scoring directly from a corner. So yeah, it's definitely been some time.
Considering what I know we're going back here, we're getting off topic, but like Garth Boyle, that old school, it was like Garth was on 67 goals a season just from headers. It was crazy the amount of goals he used to score. Like with
digits though, yeah.
With the assist king Darren Meehan there as well. It's just crazy when you think about it. But yeah, look, it's a great goal, great finish. Delighted for Mountney as well, because he's been in it right back, and I think Dan Pike's possibly been brought in there to kind of say, look, well, maybe we're going to give this a run instead. And so it's nice to that he's been, because that's where he started with us, midfield. That's where he's come from. He's a central midfielder by trade, and it was good to see him playing there, the armband on him. And yeah, I thought it's great finish, great header, especially up against Mark Conley. That's sweet, absolute sweet.
Stuck in the mud.
Steph, we were talking about it earlier on. Compared to the Galway match last week, that first half performance in particular, there's a lot of positives for John Taylor to take from that, and it's probably one of our better halves of football too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lots of positives to take, and that's all you can sort of ask for when you see a bit of hope. Maybe it's the hope that's killing us. But
that's it exactly.
Like sometimes you just be coming out of games doom and gloom. Like we were sort of looking at the fixture list after the Galway game, going, right, we're going to get 0 points now for about 2 months. But it's crazy what a week in football can do. It's the maddest. It's the maddest football. It's the maddest sport in the world. Like you can just totally flip it on its head. And look, we've only gotten a point tonight. Like if we had got 3 there, it would have been massive, especially with Bows. Like 2-0 up at half time, they were nearly writing that off as a result. Even though we were up, like, but for them to go and lose that game and then miss the penalty at the end as well, like it's tremendous. And look, it's a massive game coming up now next Sunday against Pats, and like if we chip away at Bows there, they'll start to panic. And what is it, Bows at home in the last home game, second last game of the season, and then you've thrown it. Like you're inching closer to the end of the season, and you're starting to look at the games and looking at the teams around you, and look at, we still have it in our own hands to get out of trouble. Like they're Bows.
It's Shamrock Rovers at home just before the Drogheda match. So
yeah. Well, there you go. So. Like, you've massive games to come. And I just had a quick look at the Bows fixture list, and they have Rovers, Shells in their next 3 games. And I think that wipes out possible games in hand as well. So,
right.
Like, they're no gimmies. I know, like, look, they always get themselves up for the Rovers derby match. But, like, Rovers are probably totally out of the league. And then next of all, Derry and Shell start dropping points, and everyone's talking about them again. They might just come in as dark horses, but yeah, look, they'll be looking to definitely get one over on Bows, so they might just do us a favour for once.
Gally, I suppose tonight was also a return of another one of the forgotten players at Oriel Park in Kuhn Oosterbrink. Came in for Keogh that time. It's something we forgot to mention just when we were talking about Sean Keogh come back. One of the players that we haven't seen that much this night, and it ended up being a bit of a rejig back into the team then. But a couple of important blocks there today. It could be important to have that sort of a player especially on this run in now with these last 9 games left now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember when we signed him, and kind of checking his history and stuff. And I don't know if I dreamt a YouTube clip of him or somebody maybe shared it. But he looks.
Who hasn't got those?
That's it. He looks like.
I see one for the transplant team. You look awesome.
He looks
like District FC.
He looks like someone that could play. He kind of reminds of John O'Shea. He looks like someone who could almost play anywhere. And I think utility player is probably the word I'm looking for. But you definitely like to see more of him. But you're right, Chris. When he come onto the field, I completely forgot he played for us. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it was like when we mentioned Durant a couple of weeks ago as well. There's been that many ins and outs over the last kind of 6 to 7 weeks. You almost forget that he's there. Like, he's got a new haircut as well. He didn't have that haircut the last time we seen him. He had lovely windswept and interesting hair. But again, players like that, because he's a physical lad. I mean, if you need somebody up top as a centre forward, if you need somebody at the back in a rush, he's that type of player. He could end up playing anywhere, like Ruud Gullit. But I think players like that coming off with even experience, never mind League of Ireland, just experience of playing the game. Now, I'm not saying he's a world beater. In the games,
puts a bit of height in for us, though.
Yeah, a bit of physicality, like Mountain. He looks like a centre back. I mean, that's I don't. He's definitely got a bit more about him, more of a passing game than anything else. I wouldn't be a big fan of his tackling. I think he once or twice he kind of lost a bit of the head in the games that he played. But whether or not he becomes a mainstay in the team, I don't know what we there at the minute. But definitely someone to come on, especially with like having players like that are fit, that are physically able to contend with League of Ireland football. Albeit we haven't seen a lot of him, but yeah, it is great to bring a player like that off the bench because I think he could be. Well, look, everybody's going to be vital. We talked about Gullen there a minute ago. The last couple of weeks could really hit form. We're hoping, but everybody's going to be fighting now coming up. Anybody that's fit, look, we spoke about before Steph came on, young Kyo going off as well. You're hoping it's nothing. He just overstretched a wee bit, and Robbie as well. But Mark Van Bommel, yeah, there you go from Wish. There we go. But I think players like that. Someone with that, like he's almost like a natural fitness, someone who just come in and break it up a little bit in the middle of the park. Could be for games like that in particular where you need a bit, especially like Steph said with Bows coming up, Rovers at the end of the season, you'll draw out of games. It could be, you could be these players coming back into form. Could be like Robbie Mahan as well. We mentioned earlier. You might just, like Steph said, I'm very wary of getting ahead of myself. We said this. We sat here a couple of weeks ago with the Galway game, and it was just a disaster. But look,
even Storm and Norman coming on there in the second half, Yeah, but look, I think there's like nobody has the right to hold on to the players now. The way things have been going the last couple of weeks. So hopefully a few of these players can come in and actually there could be a few surprising heroes in the squad. So
it's crying out for somebody. Yeah, it's crying out for someone.
Maybe the French. Our new French maestro might even do something. Who knew? Garbett was French. That was news to me.
I was like, is he Garbeau?
Maybe it's Garbeau. Could well be. He must have picked him up on a European transfer or something there. At least he had European clearance. Then that's always good.
French is this year.
There's nothing worse. Like, surely if you don't know the information as the commentator, don't say, I know nothing from this guy. Apparently he's French and he's got the number 37 on his back. He's staring at him. I was like, God, have a look at Transfer Market or something while you're talking, surely. This time last week, lads, we were, nearly heads in our hands talking about Goddard and, did he had a lack of confidence in the back four, and he looked like he had no confidence. Tonight, a couple of important saves. I think Tin Tomatoes even had it there, that Daly showed a bit of faith in him in picking him again here tonight, and he seemed to respond to that. The keeping situation, Steph, like it's been a problem for us all season, but does it look like that by Daly playing him tonight has just showed him that it's probably Goddard now to the end of the season?
Yeah, look, I think if he didn't drop him after last week, but look, he came out and defended him straight away, and obviously if you're Goddard and your manager comes out and defends you straight away, like, that'll give you a bit of confidence. And if Daly was planning on sticking with him, that was the best thing to do, come out and defend him, even if he did think you know, he mightn't have been great for the goal. He came out and defended him, so he's obviously going to stick with him. So look, you have to give it a bit of, I have to say it was good man management. In that front, we probably thought it was a bit of madness when he came out and defended him. But yeah, like look, he's probably going to think, well, I sort of owe the manager a favour here now. He's after backing me up. I have to prove to him now that I'm worthy of keeping the jersey. And that is it Mullen or McMullen or McMullen, whichever one of them, chance where he just, I think he gets his hand or
Mullen's chance, yeah.
Yeah, he gets
Danny
his leg,
Mullins.
his hand or something to it. So yeah, like he prevents the goal, and it's obviously going to be the winner at that stage. So yeah, like look, you have to give him his dues on that one. I'm not sure about the goal. Sort of watched it about 3 or 4 times, and the more we watch it, the more I get confused by it, how it's gone in or whatever. But yeah, look, he pulls off a big save, and I know, like, who'd be a keeper, like, you know, you could make 10 good saves in one match, and if you make one bad mistake, you know, you're in for some criticism. So probably why you're all stone mad, but yeah, like, you have to give him his credit. He's lucky. He saves that big massive chance that is going in basically. So yeah, I think it's just a revert back. I think it's good man manager from Daly to back his goalkeeper and give him that bit of a boost, bit of support. And you know, we've put in a performance today, and we've come out with a point that, you know, when you look back at the end of the season, you might go, Jesus, you know what, that when we hung on to Derry, that actually kept us up.
Gally, your thoughts on the keeper tonight? As you drink.
Better. Yeah, like Steph said, you gotta. I'd say that, like, the way John Daly is, and he comes across as someone, I'd say he's stubborn, but you probably have to be to play what he played, and you know the role that he played. Would some managers stick with it? Well, I mean, we knew Stephen O'Donnell didn't. You know, like, he changed very quickly through the goalkeepers. But you have to admire Daly for sticking with him. And like, unfortunately, keepers will make mistakes, and it gets. I was going to say it gets blown out of proportion. It doesn't, because it's right. If you make a mistake, unfortunately, it's a goal. But it always gets magnified. But unfortunately, Felix has had a couple of weeks where it's just. And it's coming at a bad time as well. When you're on a bad run, those type of moments, because you're not getting it in the far end, you're not getting any goals in the far end. It probably looks 10 times worse than it actually is. But in the context of the result is the real problem that we were having. But you have to admire Daly for sticking with him. I think he's pulled off some really good saves tonight. I don't see it changing. I think he would have to throw the ball into the back of the net over the next couple of months to get him to get out. I just don't see if we're going to have a run at this and going to attempt to stay up, he's going to have to try and stick to the spine of the team similar to what it has to be for the rest of the season. I think Goddard would have to be either injured, touch wood, or make a really erratic error to get himself back onto the bench. Yeah, it's a tough one, because Chris, like you say, there is no right. Like, when you go through the keepers that we have, there's nobody better than the other. It's all one has just played more minutes now than the other consistently. That's pretty much all we're talking about now. So, but I don't see it changing. But look, you have to admire Daly for sticking to his guns, playing him. You really have to read out these texts for anybody listening back. We just randomly laugh on the Spotify. Yeah, but
possibly better not at times when they come in. Steph, it's one of those nights again where, like, we'll come to later in the show, we'll come to the man of the match competition, but like a quick look down through them now. There's some for Sean Keogh, there's some for Air Dervin, I think Boiler got a mention there tonight. You know, there's a little bit of everything all over the place. It was one of them games that there's not a real standout player, but as a unit, probably I'm looking at that's most of the people named really across the back 4 or 5 there tonight has all been mentioned. And is that a good sign tonight? You feel that, you know, it wasn't a one-man show in any particular reason? Like, it was, I think even John Mountney actually got a couple of mentions too.
Yeah, Mountney for the header, obviously, and he's like, you know, Mountney will give you that work rate, and he'll play for the jersey, so that can never be denied. But Yeah, like look, I suppose it's good that it's spread around, and you know a lot of the back four has been mentioned. So I suppose I suppose that whatever way you look at it, if the back four are all getting a mention for man of the match, maybe we're under pressure a lot. But the fact that they held firm for all but one chance, I suppose. So yeah, it's I suppose look, it's good in a way, and it's bad in another way. Like look, we would have loved to be giving it to Cullen for working his socks off and getting the winner just before he came off. Or like somebody coming on the pitch and getting the winner as well, or just giving it to Mountney because he scored the only goal of the game. But yeah, like look, if they're all fighting for man the match and there's a few names in the half for it, it's better than like we've had some barren podcasts where you know with like man the match never even came into recognition because the performances were so poor. I think Tony's Pizzeria was nearly going out of business for a while. But yeah, but look, it's good. It's good that we can actually talk about have a bit of a debate between each other, and obviously the people texting in and putting their comments in for man the match instead of like not having one. But yeah, look, I don't know if we're going to go into it now, but I'll stick in my my nomination early doors.
Here we go.
Q at left full. I thought, like, for someone that's so young and who, like, he belies his experience at times, he looks so assured and he seems to pick the right option. He knows when to, like, you know, tackle or when to stand off somebody. Being very, very impressed with him. He's not big in stature, but he wins a lot of ball in the air that you don't expect him to. And it was, look, it's great that we've been able to tie him down to a new contract. Obviously, he's come up through the under 19s or under 20s as it is now. So it's good to see that progression. And look, the likes of him coming through creates that pathway that we've been crying out for so long. So although he mightn't be a local, but we can sort of claim him when he comes through youth system for 1 year or 2 years possibly. I'm not too sure how long he's with the club, but yeah, like that'll, like any of the under 14s, 15s, 17s, you know, looking at him coming through there, you know, it sort of spurs you on what many years ago when we were coming through and you seen the locals coming through even underage. Dakota, Andy Robertson. There you go. When you see people progressing from youth teams and into the first team, you know, it just spurs you on a little bit and gives you that hope that you know, you can actually go through and you know, represent the town as well. So it's good for us to see people coming through the system, and then it's obviously inspiring for the youth players in the academy at the minute also.
Gally, we've seen, I suppose, John Daly's not one for throwing players under a bus or anything like that, but he seemed to always pick important moments when he needs to boost the confidence or kind of highlight a thing. And in his post-match interview tonight, he actually called out the defence and how solid they looked and how well they played. So do you think that's just something to, you know, kind of, you know, going back on last week when he just said, you know, there was a litany of mistakes in for the goals, but it's important to probably just call out they've obviously trained well all week and they've given him a performance tonight, and it's just, you know, him calling that out in his post-match interview.
Yeah, and like you say, he's not afraid to. I don't think we're ever going to get kind of false truths from. I don't think we're ever going to get an issue where he won't have a go at people, or he won't, if he feels something's not right. He seems to be that type of. He's a referee's nightmare after a game, but you know, as far as like if you go to Derry where we are in the league and you can hold them to a draw, you know, albeit we've missed chances, but you know, they've had a lot of the ball, but we like, you know, the words dogged and resilient. But it all comes from the back line. It all comes from that kind of area of the pitch. And if you can keep them out like that, the defence tonight was like, I'm very wary. Like Steph said earlier, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We probably haven't been. I'm trying to think of a game we were better at the back as a unit. I can't think of a game offhand. You know, Pats maybe. You know, I know that we conceded 2 goals.
I think the Bulls match at home or first win was.
Throw that in, yeah. Yeah, probably tonight. Probably where we played tonight, where Derry are, it's probably been as good as it's been for probably 6-7 months of football. And he's right to call them out. He's right to kind of put praise on them. I don't. It starts from the front though. I think. I mean, I know we'd lauded Gullen, defensive wise. We'd rather him score him, but he's gotten stuck in to the middle of the park as well as a number 10. But yeah, the defense line tonight, like all our kind of shouts for man of the match are kind of. I know there's one in for Devon as well. We haven't even mentioned him. Paul Scholes there in midfield, but it's the likes of Kyo, the likes of Can. These players coming in. Pike is much. It's probably. Like I know we haven't seen a lot of him, but it's his best game in the Dundalk jersey anyway. But that motivation, that kind of nod to the defenders tonight. Young Kyo that's come in. We thought he was 18, Steph, 17 years of age. To come in and play like that, and give Dan Kelly as one of the boys. Give him nothing. Give him to give anything. He's only come off because he's just overstretched for a ball, and give him plaudits to those boys for next week and for training and for a bit of motivation the way home tonight. That's what a good man manager is, and that's he's right. He's 100% right. And look, and I'm sure when somebody's had a nightmare, he's absolutely murdered them in the dressing room, and rightly so. I don't think he locked them in for 2 hours like the old fella, but I think he's very to the point, and people know where to stand. And look, all praise rightly deserved after the game tonight. Yeah.
And if you did squeeze you for your man of the match while we're here,
we going, are we?
Well, but Steph's
go on. Look,
Steph jumped on the bus early, so we might as well jump on him.
It would be. I was going to say it's between two, but as the show's gone on, I had Can in the running for. But as the show's gone on, I really can't see a better And I know he's gone on after an hour, but Sean Kyo for me, and we said it there. He played a game. I can't actually remember his first game. He made a bit of an error. What's Gil? I think me and you were on after the show, Steph. Was it an error in Oriel Park? He could have covered the ball. I can't remember what it was. I can't even remember who he was playing.
No, I can't remember that.
But
is that the one the ball came over the top and his positioning was just kind of wrong?
It was just a wee bit. You could see that wee bit of inexperience, but you didn't see any of that tonight.
Waterford match, wasn't it?
Could have been.
Your man skinned him. Yeah. And we kind of thought, should he have just kind of fouled the player?
Yeah. Yes. And he's just come in tonight, and I just thought he was he's stocky, he's quick, he's fast, he's a layer to what's around him. You could argue he could probably play centre back if you were stuck. But I mean, I really don't see his position. Again, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We do this all the time, but I don't see his position on the thread. I think he probably stays now at left back for the rest of the season.
Just because we haven't got our left back, is it?
Well, but even if
unless Walker comes back,
like Flano said earlier in the show, that balance of now him and Pike. I don't even know if John Mountain would go back in at right back now with the balance that we had. But I just thought tonight Sean Kyo, outstanding. I probably haven't seen a young fella come in, especially at left back. We've had Jamie Walker come in as well and hasn't got going at all. To come in at that age and play and come through the youths, and what an example for people. And look, I thought he was excellent. Yeah, Sean Kyo all the way. Harsh on Can, but there's probably 15 years between the two of them. Sean Kyo's only 9 or something.
So it doesn't make a difference then. Mine in
Buck
the end.
One, Chris. One.
No, it doesn't. No, look, I'd probably agree, which is I think we've lamented just trying to put square pegs and round holes over the past few weeks, and has that been at the detriment of our own form that we've seen in our inconsistencies? Yeah, he could have gave away a Stonewall one, and I think Connolly nearly caught the ball in the second half as well and got away with that. So all's fair in love and war on that. But yeah, I think we're probably starting to see a lot more experience. We'll get a lot more experience from Sean Kyo the more he plays, and I think having the experience of Andy Boyle back in that back four is probably going to help him as well. And the more experience we can have there of seasoned players around him, I think that will probably benefit him as well. And I think it's also one of those things when we went through that run of not conceding in Oriel Park, I think it was pretty much a settle. I know they were built up of loan signings, which ended up really kind of killing us now at this time of the year. But I think when we were very settled back four, that's probably what made the basis for us picking up those sort of results. And I think that's what's needed as well. Like I say, left footer playing at left at left back, and if that means Pike moves over to the right, which is his more natural position as well, then so be it. And hopefully then we get some sort of a partnership between Can and Boyle, if that's what he wants to go to the end of the season, and that's why Goddard for me then has to stay in goal as well, because that just everybody has to know their positions and know everyone's strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, I thought Sean Keogh had a really, really good match tonight as well. So I would have gone witches on that. I haven't even looked during all of that. Did anyone look for anybody for this? I'm going to just pick someone at random now.
Early on. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll pick up someone who was the earliest in.
It's nice to give away pizza.
Jordan Cooney. It was the first one in with it tonight.
Well, Jordan.
So congratulations. There is a 15-inch pizza in Tony's Pizzeria on the town end. So just go in and tell him it's on ourselves and pick up a few other things while you're at it and make it worth Finney's while. Otherwise, he won't give us pizzas. Lads, other big news out of Oriel Park this week, and it's something we're really not used to at this time of the year. You know, speaking of Sean Keogh, is some contract extensions. You know, normally we're used to bare bones come the end of the season, and poor Gav is stretched beyond belief with his 12 days of Christmas and trying to sign everybody up at the club. So, you know, Darrell Horgan down to an extra year on his contract, and obviously Sean Keogh's signing, after only just signing, I think, a professional contract that started this year. We've got him signed down to another 2 years, which is probably good, Steph, when you think he has his leaving cert and everything to come next year. So that's probably going to, you know, might be a break in the time he can commit to football maybe at a certain time. So it's good to know that that's not going to stunt his career prospects at the club, that he has that 2-year contract ahead of him.
Yeah, it's good to have that bit of stability. Your only fear would be that there's somebody sniffing around him, and that's why Keogh's been offered the contract extension. But look, it's good to have ourselves covered in that instance, instead of, you know, kicking ourselves that we haven't given him the contract that he's. Look, I think he's fully deserving of it, considering how he's taken a step up to first team football. He's taken it in a stride, and he's actually impressed in a lot of games. The fact that we're, like, all three of us have went for him to be man of the match tonight.
That doesn't mean it.
No, it doesn't mean. Actually, they're reconsidering that contract now. Looking to see if we can get out of it. But yeah, like, look, for him to go up to a team that's title challenging in the league and put in a performance like that, yeah, it's impressive. For someone so young and so inexperienced. So yeah, like, it's good to see for us. It's good to talk about some positivity, a good news story as well, and then obviously the next day, I think it was, the Hogan news got announced as well, a contract extension. So look, I'm sure he's not signing an extension thinking he's going to be playing the first division next season. So there must be the belief within the squad that we're going to get out of it. So that the performance tonight and the picking up the point away from home, so like 2 points in the last 2 away games. If we keep chipping away at that, you know, we can start to hopefully climb our way out of it. But yeah, the news is positive, and it's very welcome to be getting it this early. I think we were all sort of didn't see it coming. Definitely not for me anyway.
It used to be just the norm, didn't it, back in the day, where the contract extension was just signed and it was just a formality. Yeah, look, Kenny, whatever it was, even the early doors of Stephen O'Donnell, you know, you got these done, and now it's just like, it's almost, it's kind of like transfer news. It's almost that kind of, wow, like, this is, you know, Sean Keogh, like that, Darrell Horgan, you know, it's nice to have those tied down now. Let's see what else or who else that they're looking to keep. But look, it sets you up, I suppose. Like Steph says, he'll have no way in playing first division football next year. So, you know, it gives you that bit of, it settles him down. It kind of, we commit to him, he commits to us, and that's, what more can you ask from someone like Darrell, you know?
Gally, just, you know, they talk with Darrell, and that, you know, he's 31 years old. We've got him for another 2 years. And John Daly's comments during the week was very much that he's embedded in the community here in town, and he's working on his way towards his coaching badges as well. And I think they can see a pathway for Darrell to, a bit like Burnsy. You could always see, that's the sort of person you want around the club, who gets the club and who gets the town. And do you feel that that's kind of the pathway they're setting up for Darrell?
Well, hopefully, I mean, you get players like that in. We obviously had Garth, albeit not now, but I mean, come through that with Stephen O'Donnell's another one who would have done not come through the ranks of Dundalk, I suppose, but has been there through all the success and kind of done the
DKT coaching.
Exactly.
Well,
So there's always that. You have other players, Mountain stuff like that. These are all embedded in the town, and it's a nice thing to have. I think Ronan Finn went back to UCD last year. I don't know much. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to UCD, but again, a coaching pathway, that type of thing, and that's what you're looking for, because it sets up the next kind of generation of coaches, I suppose, to kind of get in, and whether it be youth setup or whether it be, you're already in there, you're in the environment. It's great to have, for probably a surprise that it was the end of 2026. Probably would maybe expecting another year, maybe. But yeah, it's fantastic to see, and it's a commitment from the club. Considering where we are in the league, it's a commitment from them to kind of say, right, we're willing to give these contracts out, and you have to admire the kind of the want to keep these players, the want to kind of drive on no matter where. Like Corey said, they're first division or not. It's having a player like Darrell Hogan at your disposal. Like when he's on it. I mean, unfortunately, there's been a lot of games that he hasn't been, and but the last couple of weeks he's been solid enough. And you're hoping it follows on to get even players coming in, young players, that might be on the, you might get at the end of the season, they might be on the fence saying, right, well, who have you got for next year? Not to be demanding any, but right, Darrell Hogan's playing next year, whoever it is, Andy Boyle go another year, maybe. If you got those,
Ryan O'Kane always said he was his hero, and he used to love watching him back in the day.
And that all stems through being, like you said, being in the environment and in the fabric of what's happened in the club in the last kind of decade, really. And look, it's great for everybody, I suppose, because he's a fan favourite, albeit, regardless of what kind of footballer, he's always been a fan favourite himself. Mountain, Boyle, they've always been up there, that kind of echelons, because of what the success they brought to the club. So yeah, look, you got to be delighted with it, and it kind of sets down a footprint for the next kind of 2 seasons, and see what John Daly and the staff can build on.
Yeah, Steph, just on Darrell, like, it was a bit like Cullen, when Daly came in. He was one of those players that Daly challenged a little, that he wanted to see more of, and he called him out, saying he expects to see more from Darrell involved in the goals and assists in some way. And I think since he's come in now, he's scored 2 goals. I think that's his 3rd or 4th assist this year already. Like, so he's definitely reacted to that call out from Daly, and I suppose that's also part of why he's getting this contract extension, because he's clearly one of those players that John Daly trusts as well.
Yeah, look, I think he's probably one of the leaders in the dressing room now. The experience he has under his belt, going off doing what he done, worked his way into the senior Republic of Ireland team as well. So yeah, like, for someone to come back in like that, I know like they say you should never go back, but look, he's been one of the ones that we all got pretty excited when he did come back. Obviously he's not going to be the player that he was when he left us. He's at a different stage in his career, and he was in England, Scotland, played different positions, played a bit part. Then with Wickham, he sort of played a lot, but he was more in the 10. But yeah, like, look, we're just happy to see him come back, and then he's starting to contribute now. I know some of the games he's been a bit more quiet than we'd like him to be, but like, for him to put that in the money there tonight, like, that's invaluable for us. If we can get another couple of assists out of him, he scores the goal in Daly, Matt, right place, the right time, sort of thing. So yeah, look, he's definitely contributing, and if we're going to score goals, more than likely he'll be probably involved in them. So yeah, look, and it's good that he's been challenged. I don't think anybody should get a free ride just because of what they've done previously. you know, we're all in this together. We're all trying to get out of it together. So, it's good just to see the positivity, and obviously he's been rewarded. He's rooted in the community with his wife and kids, like living in Dundalk. So yeah, he's probably looking at it himself, or he's thinking, you know, he can sort of see the end of his career coming, and he's obviously lining up of like what's he going to do next. And I don't think anybody we've seen how successful Liam Burns has been within the role as soon as he finished up. And look, he didn't play for us. You wouldn't associate his playing career massively with Dundalk. You'd consider it elsewhere, but like since he's finished up, it's just been all Dundalk. And obviously his wife's working at the club now as well, and you sort of have that family and community feel to it as well. So there's the big connection there. And once you sort of get involved with Dundalk, there's not many people, or Neil Fenn possibly aside, a handful of others that sort of, you know, sign here. I think Donald Hanks might disagree with me on that one a wee bit. With some of the players he doesn't like mentioning, but yeah, like I think everyone sort of speaks highly of us as a club, and you know, the people that's involved, you know, supporters and everything else. And look, I know there's a lot of clubs around the country that are probably the exact same position as us, but it's sort of rare that someone comes to us. Even you hear the lone players talking about it and how much they enjoy their time when they come here. They might enjoy the pitch an awful lot, but the crowd and everything, the whole package of it, and just even you see them walking around town and stuff like that, and you can just get a sense that they're sort of content here. But yeah, so look, Darryl's another adopted son of ours, but yeah, look, he's given a lot to the club and the town. So yeah, happy to see his contract extended for me anyway.
Steph's claiming everyone. I like this tonight. Yeah. They're all the adopted children of Dundalk.
We have enough of the own.
That is true. Yeah.
Everyone's welcome. We're all God's children.
Gally, like we now go into the cup weekend. Obviously, we are going to have a break.
I'll rub it in for us.
I think John Daly could be organising some sort of a friendly or something in this break just to keep players sharp. And you know, you were talking about a couple of players coming back from injury, so it's probably an opportunity to get that back. More so though, with the 3 players that went off tonight, do you think it's just an opportunity to give them a rest?
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, like, and in fairness, they've played a lot of football, but they're not overly, you know, like it's not. We don't have Europe. We're ready to go. It's not like we're playing twice a week like some clubs have been recently. But
we're playing Pats after the break, and who are?
Yeah, and I think that, like, again, we'll go back to pitches and stuff like that. But it's you got to use the opportunity to have a rest, but also get a game. Like, he's right to probably go and look at a game. I don't know who it is, or you've got any scope on it, but you're right to get a game, because a week off, especially after tonight, you don't really want the week off. You know, you kind of want to, if you can get something going. Training's great, but you can't beat the physicality and the fitness of a match and just that extra bit of go for the next set of games. But I think we're playing Pats is the 23rd, is it? The 23rd, the next one? 24th, 23rd?
It's down as Friday the 23rd.
They go in, I think somebody
it'll depend on, it'll depend on the European. You can end up with a back to Sunday. Well, I'd say it get pushed back to the Sunday.
Yeah, so he's right to get a match, some kind of match going. But yeah, rest up, you know, especially the likes of Robbie there and stuff, and you're going to need players like that. I mean, the friendly will give minutes to somebody who's kind of in the not down the pecking order, but kind of that kind of replacement. Give them minutes, get them fit. But yeah, it's an opportunity for somebody else to come in, and it means you can evaluate the squad in match play rather than just have a look at them at training all the time. And it can be used to their advantage as well. Although you don't want to break, you know, you use it as it comes, and have like a mini pre-season for a week. But yeah, no, it's a. You'd rather be playing match. You'd rather be playing in the league. But look, use it to your advantage. Get a game under your belt and go for the next set of matches, because you know we got to back to this crap of the last couple of seasons where we've a mini wee league coming up over the next couple of weeks and months. So we got to finish top of it if we want to get out of the hole that we're in.
Right. Well, Steph, on that note, we're back to a 3-point gap to Drogheda, who play Shamrock Rovers on Sunday, I believe it is that's probably the most important thing with getting that point tonight, that just brings that gap back, you know, with the better goal difference, and it just means that we're not 1 win away from back to the bottom of the league again.
Yeah, we're just about staying above
I'm looking for the positivity.
Yeah. But no, look, it is, and that, like you had mentioned already, that goal difference could be very vital come the end. It's essentially worth an extra point here. I know we don't have to rely on it, but yeah, look, it keeps that small bit of breathing space. It would have been amazing to get the 3 points, but in hindsight, like after the match, but if anybody offered you a 1-1 draw before the game, you would have took hand, arm, leg, that works, you know. But yeah, it's important. Just, you know, we keep taking away the points on the board. We were all very disappointed after the Galway game, and we were looking around to see where we were actually going to pick up points and to get one on the board straight away. And Gally just mentioned a few minutes ago about the mini league, and it's going to be so important to beat the teams around you. We should be targeting Pats at home as definitely something to get out of that game. 3 points would be amazing. At least get 1 point out of it. And look, if we just start, like Bo's probably thought after drawing with us in Dalymount a couple of weeks ago and then us losing last week, they probably thought, oh, we're gone here. They won't be able to catch us. But I'll tell you
Gap's
what,
only 4.
Yeah, if we can go and beat Pats, and we don't know what they'll do from now, by the time that, like I said, the match will probably be switched to the Sunday if they're involved in Europe still. And after we got the 1-0 win, you'd probably think they could be still involved. So, yeah, by the time that comes around, you know, them games in hand could be up in smoke, and we could be 4 points behind them with 10 games played. So, if we close the door on them, you know, close the gap, you know, they'll start getting very nervous when you think you're safe, and then you start to get dragged back into it. That's when you start to really, really panic. So, it's just been so roller coaster for us. Like 1 week, we're looking at getting out of the playoff position, and then the next week we're saying, oh, we're definitely going to get relegated straight down, and Drogheda will pull 3 points out of nowhere, out of the magic hat. And, but yeah, it's been roller coaster. Like we never do it easy. We can't just string 2-3 wins together and just, you know, start forgetting about this relegation scrap. But yeah, at least it's exciting, and it keeps us with topics to talk about as well. So, but yeah, if we can just keep that breather between us and Drogheda, just, you know, take our chances in the playoff if we have to, but just make sure you don't finish bottom and go straight down, because I think it, like it was mentioned last week, how hard it is to come back up, and you know, even looking towards a playoff, like all the teams that have won a playoff had to win a semi-final, playoff final to even get to the playoff to play the Premier Division team. And we seen last year Waterford beating Cork to come up. Like there had been a trend where the Premier Division team was sort of,
yeah, Waterford got caught in the hop on that before.
Yeah,
and UCD beat them.
Yeah,
the previous.
Yeah, so look, it's always been that way where you'd fancy the Premier Division team, but you know, you just don't want to be in that position. If we can claw back Bows, because Bows aren't particularly good, and that will be a massive blow for them at home tonight, especially what way it went. Them winning
2-0 up at half time.
You know, whatever's gone there, hopefully it continues. I think the crowd was getting on the back of the manager as well. So they're definitely not happy up there, and then they probably thought they were going to rescue a point as well, which is great. Let's draw the play on, missing the penalty. Tremendous.
Gally, is it all eyes on Tala on Sunday at 7:00?
It always is, Sean. We always seem to do this podcast, and it always seems to be Tala. We're always talking about Tala. Yeah, it probably is, because you got to keep an eye on it, and like,
well, as Steph just said, like there's 3 points in the goal, or there's 3 points and 3 goals, in the goal difference column between this. So if there's anything the Shamrock Rovers, well, if Shamrock Rovers could do something for us there, and a defeat, and a heavy defeat, would be even better for us. I think that's probably what we're looking for.
It would be all the sweet. I mean, it's one of those where, like, do we support the certain element? Who do we go for? But we gotta be looking for points.
Just about survival. I'll take anything.
It's got to be survival, no matter who we have to, cheer on a night like that. But yeah, a nice heavy defeat. But get a bit of goal difference in as well would be great. Because like Corey says, like, you don't really want to go to. But would you be worried that the Shamrock Rovers are in the middle of their European game? Are they going to rest some players here? But even I was thinking about that as you were talking. But even some of them that are rested, they should have enough. I mean, the squad that they have. Now, look, Derry, you would have said the same about Derry early season. Shelbourne probably don't have enough of a squad as Derry or Shamrock Rovers, but are doing the business, even at a poor rate, but doing the business. But Rovers, even resting a few, should be okay. But then again, look, like where we are, wherever, like Drawdown, you just don't know. The cup finals are coming, and you just don't know what you're going to get on the night. And it's always Tala, isn't it? There's always something in Tala when we do this podcast. There's always a game in Tala, whether it's us or someone else. But yeah, look, you have to agree with Corey. We're all going to be. I hate to say it. Poor Donald Hanks, his ears must be burning. But yeah, we're definitely going to be cheering them on Sunday. But look, you got to. Lily Whites, yeah. We will all be on that train, and that game kicks off, yeah. Look, we could do a special podcast if the motor. We could do a special podcast.
We're not doing that. With still another 9 games to go, this will be repeated forever, lads. If we were to do something like that,
that's Johnny Ward levels there.
Yeah, that'd be the most worrying thing. As Frank just mentions there, for the 5 home games that we have left, and we'll have 2 in a row, coming up on when we come back as well. It's just important that we get the whole of Oriel rocking again. And even there tonight, the Brandywell was so quiet at times, especially when we went 1-0 up. It's like we absolutely stunned them. So we've got to make sure we can do our bit as fans, and get up there and support the lads right the way to the end on this. And on that note as well, the club is holding an open training session on Sunday up in Oriel Park between 10 and 12:30, and then you can hang on all day till 7 o'clock and then watch the Shamrock Rovers match that night. So if anyone wants to come up, there's a meet and greet with some of the players after then as well. And these are little things, lads, that we always talked about that the club should be doing. So it's good to see that the club is finally getting around that. If you want to maintain those links, I think, between the community and the club, these are things that we have to be doing several times a year. So it's great to see the club is finally doing that. Lads, it's getting on in time as normal. I'm actually here on time, so that makes a change. We'll have a break for next week due to us not being involved, unless we figure out who we're playing in a friendly, and then lads, we can jump in and do. No, I'm not joking. We won't do that. So we'll have a week off, and then we'll be back as always after the Pats match, whenever that is scheduled for. So I suppose until then, come on, Turn.